On this episode of At the Lakha Khan Museum, Simin Keramati puts a new twist on one of Rumi's most famous works and a concert that gives new meaning to the term home theater. Welcome to At the Lakha Khan Museum. I'm Amirali Alibhai. Simin Keramati was born in Iran and lives in Toronto. She's a painter, a video artist, and filmmaker. A common theme in her work is identity, particularly with regard to women. It's no surprise that she was drawn to a famous story by the poet Rumi, in which people make broad assumptions based on limited information. She created an installation based on that tale, which we were honored to display here at the Lakha Khan Museum.
I'm Simin Keramati. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I'm based in Toronto. I was born in Tehran, Iran, raised there. My background in university is with painting, and I studied fine arts. But I found it difficult for me to limit myself into just one material or a series of material. So anytime I want to be creative, I think about the way that I can execute that creativity in a visual way. It's been almost 11 years that I'm living in Toronto. It added value to me, like immigration, to my point of view. As an artist, when I work with social, political, and identity, the society I live in, especially the city that I live in, takes a great part in my creativity. I learned a lot of things through motherhood from my child. He grew up in my studio, He is a very good inspiration for me. The way that I could resist, I could survive, I could be there. I found qualities in myself that I never thought that a person like me can have. This work, The Elephant in the Dark, it's a story by Rumi that talks about an elephant that they have put it in a dark room. They invite those people to enter the room, and they cannot see the creature, but they can touch different parts of the body, and they can identify what they are touching. Their perception separately are quite different. It is a multimedia installation. Once they touch the button, the video will turn on, and they see a part of the elephant, not the whole thing. It will be darker, and there will be spotlights over these elements. The idea of the poem is you touch a part of the elephant, and then you guess what you're touching. These are the parts, and they can easily tell that is the food, that is the trunk, but this one is a bit harder for them to see. Well, this is the eyes. And there will be images coming out, like lights coming out, because it will be a back projection thing. They will install the projector up here, and then the image will be projected on here. And then from the inside, from the apertures, they can see parts of it. And then when they come to the back of the scene, they can see the whole image all at once. I think the image that I have created based on the imagination of Rumi will stay with the audience for a while. For the past 5 years, I was working on misplacement and displacement. And in every society, when you come from a very different culture, there is some very generated things that you know about the other culture. So it happened to me a lot. Like wherever I go, they just think about my backgrounds, and then they put me in the boxes. You don't know me, so don't just put me in the titles that you know. People are allowed to have assumptions about everything, but you don't have to impose it. You can ask questions.
Coming up, a concert without an audience. We recently released a second season of our documentary series, Searching for the Blues, featuring Manganyar musician Lakha Khan, who is a master of the Sindhi Sarangi, a stringed instrument from India. In the first series, we visited him in India. In the second, the master came to Canada. We're about to see a segment from that second episode of season 2, where Lakha Khan performs with Pakistani musicians in my living room. It was an intimate, magical experience. Before we see that, we're going to talk to someone who helped to make this concert possible. Hi, I'm joined by Umair Jaffer, who is the CEO of Small World Music here in Toronto and our partner in bringing Lakha Khan to Canada. Umair, what was the significance of bringing someone like Lakha Khan to Canada?
Thank you, Bhai, first of all, for this conversation and for the opportunity to be part of such an amazing project. It was just mind-blowing to experience a legend like Lakha Khan in person. I had audiences come up to us and speak to the fact that it was one of their highlights and how moving the whole performance was. I think it's really important when we have artists like Lakha ji come and connect with the diasporic community and the younger generation and bring to them something that even in the local setting in India is considered niche. He really is a legend, but the music he plays is unfortunately not as popular as it should be, in my opinion. So there are a lot of people that have had encounters to connect with their own culture and heritage through shows at the museum. And I think the Lakha Khan show was certainly one of those where people did not know what to expect and came in and were blown away by the magic and the sheer power of the performance that Lakha ji presents.
Well, you know, he had just won, if you remember, the Padma Shri, one of the highest awards in the arts that the government of India can provide to an artist. And, you know, I remember you and I talking about this, and we had Farid Ayaz Abu Muhammad Kawal in town. And if you remember, there was that wonderful gathering at my home, which evolved into a performance of sort. Maybe you can talk about that and the importance of that.
Yeah, that was really a special encounter. I think we have these two legends from two sides of the border communicating to each other, meeting each other for the first time. They had heard of each other, but I think that was the first time they had ever met in person. The beauty of it for me was where we have people from both sides of the divide, both sides of the border, who share the same heritage, the same music, and the same songs and poems, and they were singing them to each other in their own style and appreciating each other. And it was really, it seemed like we had all blurred and they were focused on how to connect with the other through the music and through their own styles. It was also wonderful to have the Canadian artists be part of the room, because here was someone who was in some ways an outsider, but was connecting to the Indian and the Pakistani artists through their own music. And I feel only Toronto is a place that something like this could happen.
Did you have any big takeaways from the experience? You know, I'm talking about the meeting between these artists.
It's always special when we have these opportunities where we can break down those divides and those walls. It's always special when we realize that we do in fact have a common heritage and culture. So for me, it's always very moving when I get a chance to see artists, especially from India and Pakistan, connect to each other at that level. So I think that was really the big takeaway, that we're able to create this space and create a project that can hopefully spread the message of love and peace across the world.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I think the setting of a home, an informal setting, for their first encounter, seemed to be important in taking the pressure of performing off, and yet they ended up performing this amazing, once in a lifetime concert, and
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like a concert in the end for me, as someone running around, kind of, watching what was happening and unfolding.
I think no. The only thing I would add is that that has been traditionally the true nature of performances in the region. It's usually not where the audiences are separated from the artists. So the interaction was exactly like that, where you could hear audiences or people who are witnessing them perform give feedback to them, and then they're getting excited. So it has to be a two-way stream, and that evening at your place really made it more special, because it was exactly how we were used to Bethuks back home.
Well, Umair, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we have the opportunity to do more projects like this one.
Thank you, Bhai.
Now that we've whetted your appetite a little bit, let's take a look at a section of that concert.
जी वाह वाह बाबा जी वाह बाबा जी जिंदे रहो बाबा जी जिंदे रहो you long life you long life और पुत्र तू भी जिंदा रहे अली भाई आपके लिए बड़ी है खास तौर से ये चीज.
Thanks for watching at the Lakha Khan Museum. As you can see from the content in this show, we specialize in bringing people, ideas, and backgrounds together. We want you to be part of that. Please check out our stories and performances on our website, on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Amirali Alipai. We'll see you next time.